Hi everyone. So somebody expressed some interest on this Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint on Instagram, so here I am to talk about it. So the shade is 102 Fair Porcelain. That's the lightest shade they carry. I have tried a couple things in this shade from Maybelline, and this is, I think this might have been the first formula I came out in. It's the Superstay Full Coverage, and I probably have a really super old review on that, which I could link if you're curious. Before I get too much into it, let's go ahead and take a look at the comparison swatches, see how it looks compared to other stuff in my collection. Okay, so this is the Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint in 102 Fair Porcelain. This is an old bottle of the Superstay, the matte full coverage one. I feel like they are pretty similar. Maybe the matte one is a tiny bit lighter. For something that is a better undertone match for me, if I'm going for very pale, is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting in CN 0.5. And this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear in 0N1 Alabaster. For something that's a little bit more of that peach undertone, I don't have a lot of these because I tend to try to buy more yellow undertone foundation versus peach, but this is one I have. It's very, very old bottle of the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra in 090N, so 90N. I'll get there eventually. And for a drugstore darker foundation that has the undertones I prefer better, this is the L'Oreal Fresh Wear Infallible in 390 Snow. So you can see it's a little bit darker than some of the other things that might be like a more exact match for me. The undertone is not a perfect fit for me, but it's, you know, it's workable. I tend to wear light to medium coverage, so I don't need like a perfect match. And this just has a little bit more of that peachy tone as opposed to that cool yellow, which is what you might be able to see like on my neck sometimes, that contrast of something that doesn't match quite right. You can see that undertone jumping out a little bit more. It is very subtle. I'm very pale, you know, we're not working with a whole lot here, but that is the undertone I prefer. So something like what's in that L'Oreal and the Clinique. But I'm totally fine wearing these. It's almost a little bit easier, I think, when it's a little bit darker than my neck, if the undertone doesn't match quite right. So I think this actually is a good fit. It's a fine fit as far as the color goes. The issue I have with this foundation is I think the formula just doesn't really work on my face all that well. I'm 44 years old. I have some more like sagging skin, as it were. So I get kind of creases around right here. And especially right around my mouth is where I feel like it tends to just look, throughout the day, it looks a little bit heavy. And I have to be really careful to put like the thinnest layer, because if I put too much, like if I use my hands to apply it, I tend to get too much and then it looks really, really heavy throughout the day. So applying it with a damp sponge is definitely the best fit for me. It kind of shears it out a little bit more. Make sure I get a very thin layer. I think it looks really, really pretty when I first apply it, and you can see how it applies. It looks really nice. It's just once it kind of sets and just kind of sits on my face throughout the day, it doesn't look great. A lot of foundations do not look great throughout the day on me. My skin is just not, it doesn't like foundation. There aren't a whole lot of things that work great for me. So it's not even remotely close to the worst foundation for me. It's really kind of middle of the road. It's just I don't really know what I'm gonna get, and when I am looking to put on something, I want something that I know every time I apply it, it's gonna go on more or less the same. It's gonna wear throughout the day the same. And I feel like with this one, some days it looks okay. Some days if I don't have enough moisture, it will really show the dryness. Other days if I have a little too much moisture, it's gonna look really heavy and kind of shiny. You know, it's a lot, you know. I never know. So that's why I don't like it. It's, you know, I would definitely wear it, but I have so many options that I'm just gonna pick a formula that works better on my face, personally. So that's about it. It doesn't wear off in that kind of patchy, polka dotted way on my chin, which a lot of foundations do to me. So I do appreciate that, especially for something that's not like a foundation that's like a more matte long wear foundation. A lot of those are more likely to wear a little bit better on me. So anything that's, you know, gonna be more glowy or whatever, more skin-like finish, those are the ones that tend to wear really poorly on that oilier area of my chin. And this one doesn't do that. So that is nice, at least. I can appreciate that. I don't think the finish is anything to write home about on my face, but then again, I think it also has to do with skin prep, and I just am, the only thing I can really tolerate underneath foundation is whatever I have my SPF in, you know, so it's probably some sort of like primer moisturizer thing with SPF 30 or 50 or whatever. And today I used the Clinique Pep Start SPF underneath it, and I feel like it looks a little dry. So we can zoom in and look at it real quick. I do have some like healing acne, and you know, there's nothing you can do about that, right? It's just like kind of flaky. I kind of screwed up my lipstick, so I think I took some of the foundation off with it. But since this is in that area where I have that crease, the more products I put on, the worse it's gonna look. Normally what I do when that happens is I'll put a little like foundation powder. Let's keep it in the Super Stay family. This is 102 Fair Porcelain full coverage powder foundation. I like this fine. I mean, I've worn it quite a bit. I have a dip in it. So I'll take a little flat brush. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it is starting to kind of crease a little bit, kind of, not even, it's just like looks a little bunched up. I'm just a mess here. So right in there. I'm really picky. I have this dermatitis where around my nose peels. We can take off the glasses and see how much, you know. I've never met any sort of foundation that will hold up to glasses. I don't think it is possible, especially because like I'm sweating underneath. Little nose bridge there. So I didn't wear any sort of highlighter today. Any sort of like shine on my nose is just from the foundation plus any oils. I did put this foundation on a couple hours ago. So it hasn't been a long time or anything, but it is long enough where it's starting to do its thing on my face, which is not the greatest, not the worst. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm very kind of meh when it comes to this foundation. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's not one that I reach for. I did try it out a lot just because I had seen it look really pretty on other people, but these people were like 20 years younger than me and have a face that pretty much everything looks good on, so not a great comparison. So yeah, let me know if you've tried it and how it worked for you. I always love hearing from everyone. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video today. I hope you're having a good one, and I'll see you soon.